Hey, good morning, everybody. Whew, it's early and it rained. Oh my gosh, we haven't had rain for a while. And I'd say the fall season has started. We have leaves everywhere, already starting to fall. So I today am putting together an ornament layout, Christmas layout, and boy, I wish I could remember the name of this paper. It uses this paper, which is, let me look it up, Royal something. Yikes. What's wrong with me? Let's see. Hold on. I should have looked this up before I went live, shouldn't I? But it's been super popular. I know all of you people out there are screaming it. The name of it. There it is. Season of Elegance. This is the paper that I use to cut the ornaments from. And then in the other online, there was a special of like greenery and gold or gold and greenery, and that paper it coordinates with it. It's like the same colors and tones. That green and gold doesn't necessarily coordinate with everything else. Like it does not coordinate with the bright, greens and reds. It's more of a royal color, so to speak. But I'm trying to look to see what else it would coordinate with. I should know. It will not coordinate with these brights. It will coordinate with this a little bit. It's a different look. Not with all of these. No, it's just very limited what it coordinates with that green and gold. I think that's why online you're seeing, if you watch YouTube and stuff, you're seeing a lot of demonstrators use it by itself. It's like I like to mix it up and use my paper with other packs, you know what I mean? And sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. I mean, sometimes a paper pack is just meant to be whole as it is. So for those of you who purchased from me this month, you will either get this layout or a pack of cards. And the cards I will do on Wednesday. I have them all ready to roll. And if you're a card maker and you received the scrapbook kit, please let me know, because I tend to make cards for my card makers so that they don't end up with scrapbook layouts they'll never use, or try to make cards out of something like this. And then when I was cleaning up, I found an extra and it made me freak out a little, thinking maybe one of you did not get and in your title it should say merry and bright, and I am pretty sure I handed it to everybody, or doled it out to everybody, but then I had this extra one and now I don't know. So if you're missing one, holy moly, I apologize, let me know. Let's look at what else is in your kit. So you have 2 pages. These are like French vanilla, which coordinates. Now this is that golden greenery, and you can see the back of it is that kind of beautiful green, and the other side has gold tones. I'm using the gold tone. You may have received a little bit different paper. A couple of people received a different pattern. I don't care which one you use, to be honest, your choice. But we're going to put these on each side of the layout. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And it looks really pretty with the, you could lay it out and see if you like the other side better. I just like this gold. It's a little more muted. Okay, Moose. Moose is at the front door, and usually Steve sleeps in on Fridays because he's a night owl. He's one of those people that stays up really late, and he's not usually awake when I do this. But he's awake now, and I locked the door so he can't get in. So Moose is going nuts watching him walk by. He'll get in. He'll figure it out. I'm not worried. Okay, so we have one on each side. And then the other thing that you have in here is a couple of strips of this pattern. This is also from there. You can see the back of it was like bells. There are dies to cut these bells out and stuff. That's kind of a cool thing. But I wanted to use the plaid. And so I'm going to put this down at the bottom of each side of the layout. Now, I'm not going all the way across. I'm just going to start at the gold and lay it across the bottom like that. And then just snip off the extra. And you can, you know, use that extra somewhere else. Now, the other thing to know is, since they're going to be side by side, it's probably a good idea to put, you know, look at your pattern and make sure it matches. If you put it upside down, you will notice. No one else in the world will notice, but you would notice that you put it upside down because the pattern doesn't flow from left to right. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those little details that you notice. No one else will probably ever see it. I guarantee you that if I put this upside down and then I put a picture on my page, somebody would say something. I guarantee it. All right, now the third thing we're gonna do is ribbon. This ribbon is so beautiful. I had kind of gotten away from using ribbon very much on my close to my heart layouts because, you know, they kind of quit carrying it, and I try not to buy gobs and gobs of ribbon. But this is cherry cobbler, and you get a ton of it. It's, I think you get, I want to say 10 yards, which is gobs. It doesn't say, does it say? 10 yards, yeah. So, and it's a very rich, like regal royal red. And in my opinion, it coordinates with scarlet. So if you have the close to my heart scarlet, you will be fine if you want to match up some ribbon. Okay, so I want to show you how I put ribbon on because not everybody does it the same way. I'm going to turn my page here, and you know, what I want is for it to be like go across that seam like that. Now, the problem with ribbon over time is whatever adhesive you use will loosen up a little bit, and then your ribbon will look kind of bunchy and weird, even in a page protector. And so I try not to use hardly any adhesive with this, and sometimes I'll put just a tiny bit where, you know, maybe top and bottom. I mean, I hardly have any there. And then I'll lay that ribbon across it as tight as possible and leave a tail at the top and the bottom. And push down. And then when you flip the page over, you end up with these two tails. Let me trying to get a little closer. So you end up with these two tails. Now, I like to, sometimes I will put a little adhesive on there and wrap it over. But just know that will not be enough to hold it. I have layouts from Club Scrap is like notorious ribbon. They love ribbon and they use a lot of it. And so you can use washi tape and go across, but some of my ribbon from many years ago is just loose, loose, loose. I mean, there's not much you can do about it. This is tear-in tape, and I obviously bought the wagon wheel of it, not directly from Stampin' Up. But if you don't have tear-in tape, you should. If you've never tried it, it's double stick. So one side of it is sticky, and then you peel it off, just like foam tape or something. And then I just use it like, like tape. I wouldn't use Scotch tape because it's not acid free and it will really come loose and it'll turn yellow and get crusty. You've all seen old Scotch tape. So washi tape works because it's acid free, although it may not hold forever. Tear-in tape is great, and you don't have to peel the backing off. So that's why I like to use tear-in tape. Double stick tape. Now I zoomed in too much, didn't I? I'm crazy. I want you to see both sides, but not everything on my desk, okay? All right, but we'll just work on one page at a time. So I see how that is sort of loose now. I just leave it that way and put it into the page. Now, sometimes you could add like a little glue dot or something right in the center, or just, just another little tiny piece of adhesive if you really feel like you need it secured better. But I have found leaving it loose is sort of a better way to go. Some of my layouts that are super duper old, now we're going to do the right page, same thing. Some of my layouts that are like 30 years old or whatever, the ribbon's totally loose on it, like bubbly looking. It doesn't look good. So, all right, I'm just going to put that down, flip that over. And then again, I'm just going to put a little adhesive on the back. You could put adhesive directly on the ribbon. That way, wherever you stick it, it will be stuck down. But I just put a little tiny amount. And here we are with our tape again. And I'm just going to adhere that down. I'm just going to put a piece there. And there. All right. You probably wouldn't even have to use that much, but that's what I use. Okay. Now we have left and right, and that's our base. So let's sort our stuff, other stuff in the baggie. Let's start with our photo mats. They are all scarlet, and I made it so that the smaller photo mats are on the left, and these are an unusual size. Sometimes I cut my 4x6s down a little bit, and these are 6 by like 4 1/4, which no, 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. So this would fit a 3.5 by 5 photo, or cut your 4x6 down just a little bit. And I know that's a weird size, but it fit really well on this layout. And I thought that way you could even do 2 verticals crossed over each other if you wanted to. But this is the way I intended them to be, okay? Just like that. And then on the right-hand side, we have a vertical 4x6 and a couple of 3x3. Now this will cross over the side. So this will be like this. And so that's my plan, okay? Now, if you get into your batch of ornaments and look at them, you can see I basically just cut different sizes of circles. And I'm going to lay these out because these are the circles that I want on each side. And we're not ready to adhere them yet. I just want to show you what goes where. All right. So on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, just for balance, we're going to have a large 3-inch vanilla-looking circle. And then for balance, the red on each side. This is, you can use whichever side you want. If you don't want the gold, you don't use the gold. And then this is also from that gold and greenery. Greenery and gold. Gosh, I really should look up the names of these. But this one, one on each side. I put one of these for each side, although I don't think I used this one on the layout that I made. And then I have a red, a small red, and a small ornament that I sent you for this page. This is from that ornament stamp set that's in the catalog. You know, I've struggled a little bit with this one. If somebody said, ooh, I love it, I'd be like, show me what you're making with it, because I'm using it. It's this one. I'm using it, but I'm kind of like, how are you using that? They use it as a peel off where the ornament doesn't cut all the way around. You might be able to see there's breaks in the cut lines. And then when you put it on, it peels off. So the receiver could peel it off and use it to hang on the tree or use it as an ornament. And I'm thinking, no, because then there'd be little torn areas. So I just made it like this. I'm using it as an embellishment. So this is our, how we're sorting out these pieces. And so I'm going to set the other pieces. Let's go ahead and sort. You have greenery, and you have, I cut these out for you out of the vellum paper, and we're just going to put one on each side of the large. And then I don't know, honestly, I think I sent different parts and pieces to people, but basically you want a balance of a couple of large on the left and a large, and if you have one that's smaller, put it on the right. And then all the other pieces, let's just put in a pile. I put mine like this, scattered all over the place, up here at the top. And I also have the title that I'm going to put up here at the top so that we can work on the rest of it. This little pouch are ornament toppers and embellishments, so don't get in a hurry with those. We'll just set those there for now. These two, after we do our ornaments, I'll show you what we use with these. Okay, that is where we're at, right? Okay, so let's work on the left-hand page first. And I'm going to bring that over here. And basically what I want is I want a balance of ornaments in color, right? That will hang, that will like be hanging from the top of the page. So it doesn't really matter where they are, how they are. I put the bigger one at the top, and I tried to balance the red and the green a little bit, but you know, if you like it better with the green at the top, do whatever you think looks good, okay? I just have an assortment here, and this piece, the stripes, put the stripes any way you want. I have no care in the world. Get a pencil, and I didn't give you enough of the, this is that thread that's on a spool that comes in lots of colors, and I really liked this. I'm going to put the short one on the right page, so I'm just going to throw that over there, and I'm just going to use the long one for now. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to use that tear and tape idea again. If you don't have tear and tape, just use double-sided tape, but the idea is to figure out where you would need strings, where it would show if it was hanging from the top of the page. So we would need one here and one here for sure. This one would get buried behind here. This one would be the same string as here. See how that kind of follows that line? And I can make it so that this one does too. So maybe one here. This one that goes straight down would have to end there. And then I feel like I could put one on here, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do this one yet. All right, so I have my marks. They're a little hard to see, especially on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and slide these off, and I'm going to take my string and a little piece of tape. This tape is going to get hidden behind the ornaments, so it's not like, you know, and you'll have to be a little sparing because I gave out all I had, okay? So you want to go below your line. If you made a little dot, go below your line so it'll be hidden by the ornament, and put a little piece of tear and tape there. And then I'm looking, I have another little line there, so I'm going to put another little piece of tear and tape there. It'll be hidden behind the ornament. And then up here at the top, this will be hidden. I'm going to put another little piece right there. This is the trickiest thing of the whole page, okay? And then we want it to, we're going to use this, we want this to go up and around and tape to the back, right? It's okay if you use, and you can use any adhesive, right? Because it's not going to show. And you're going to have it in a way that you can use it as adhesive. Now we have this mark here and here, and we're going to do the same thing with this little guy. Let's make sure it's long enough. Yes, it is. Okay. So we need a little piece there and a little piece there. And yes, I'm cutting it because I don't know what I'm going to do with that red one yet. I may just put a bow on that or something. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. And then on the back, I'm going to tape that down. All right, so yeah, the backs of our pages are looking weird, but they'll be in page protectors. No one will know any better. All right, let's peel off the protective covering. Easy for me to say. Of all of this tape. One thing is, one thing I've noticed, the Stampin' Up! Brand tear and tape is super easy to peel off. I mean, it takes no effort at all. And this, off brand that I bought, I don't even remember what brand it is a lot harder to peel. And in that way, it's worth it to spend the money on on the Stampin' Up! One, because this is like one of my pet peeves, is when you can't get the tape thingy off. So just saying, think about it. All right, I may leave that on. There. Sometimes I use my pokey tool. The scissors are not as good as the pokey tool. But anyway, you get the idea. All right, so we have our strings. And now we know, kind of think about how your ornaments are and which ones. Some of them you'll want popped up on foam tape and some of them you'll want flat. I want this one flat, so I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on, and I'm going to put it right there. This one I want some foam tape, and so I'm going to cut some pieces of foam. Again, I got my giant wagon wheel of foam tape, and if you're, you know, looking at this thinking I'm putting too much on, you're probably right. All right. Okay. Peel those off. See, I feel like you could be working with me. I'm slow at adhering things, and some people are really fast at adhering things. Of course, one thing I've noticed is when I'm watching someone else put together an ornament, that kind of looks like a globe. It's driving me crazy. I'm like, I think I'll put it at the thing at the top. See, when I put it on the side, it's like there's Africa, there's Europe. All right. All right. And then I have this green that I wanted to go here. I think I want that flat. Yeah, well, sometimes when I'm watching other people, it's like they think they're going really slow, and they are, but they already know what they're going to do ahead of time. And so it really does make them faster because you're trying to figure out where they're going, right? I think I'm going to foam tape that one also. And so let me just get a couple of pieces. I feel like this is very pretty. There's something, I really wanted this paper, but it's a little out of my norm in terms of it's pretty instead of cute. I do pretty, but I don't take a lot of pretty pictures necessarily. All right, and then we have these, all right, so I think I'm gonna coordinate them like this instead of like this because of my string situation. And then all I need is a piece of string that goes from here to here. Like I could have made this longer even, right? And it would have been just fine, but oh well. All right. So in this case, just to make it work, I'm going to put tear and tape here because that's where I'm going to put this little globe, but I need it to adhere at the top. And so I am going to put a glob of my liquid glue there. I thought I was going to. Hold on a second. This never dries up, but I left the pin out of it all night. That's smart. There it goes. All right, I'm going to put a glob there and put that in there. And I'm just going to, you can kind of see, I'm just pushing that down. And I'm just going to let that dry. All right. Now I can move on. And I have this green. I'm going to put it down a little farther there. And then I have this red, which I think will look fabulous popped up. So another bit of foam. Okay, we are done with the hardest part of the layout, aren't you all? You should give yourself some applause. Okay, get rid of my garbage. I think that turned out really nice. It's really pretty. Next, let's go ahead and put our photo mats on. Now, if you're holding off on doing photo mats until you have pictures, I get it. I understand. You just lay them in place. All right, what is going on with my gun? Okay, so I'm just going to put them where they look good. Top and bottom. So I had something happen yesterday. I was white powder embossing, and I dumped the entire bottle of embossing powder. It just tipped over and dumped, but it went like airborne and poofed over everything. So I have it on my camera stand, on my light. Look at this white powder all over it. I have powder on every single thing I touch. I have wiped this down like 5 times, and yikes. Okay, these 2 strips, one is going to go on the right page, one is going to go on the left page, so I'm going to throw that over in the right page pile. And you can either put it here at the top or here at the bottom, or you can wait and do it when we have both pages side by side, but that's sort of the plan, okay? So I am just gonna trim this. This is stamped. I stamped this using a close to my heart, I think it was close to my heart, stamp set. You guys know I'm not supposed to send stamped images to you, so please. Under wraps, y'all. Under wraps. Okay, there's that. Now we're ready for the little toppers. So we're going to make a mess, dump that out, make sure you get everything. I may have sent you one extra topper. I had some extras and I threw some in. Basically, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little piece glue dot adhesive. We're going to put it at the top of each ornament where it's going to show, including this stamped one, because I hate the stamped look of that. Okay. And basically, you're just going to glue a topper on. Now, if you really wanted to get fancy, you could make that string go through that hole. I am not that detailed. If it looks good, it looks good. That's all I'm gonna say. You can do whatever you want with that. I think that needs to be tucked under just a little. There we go. And some of these will be a little bit covered up anyway. I have this little, okay, hold on a minute. I have a couple that don't have circles on them, and I sent you those to show you these right here versus this one. This one is from a Close to My Heart set. This one is from this ornament set. And so I sent you 2 of those. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and put it there. I just want you to see there's a difference. Use them or not. But that's kind of was my plan. Okay, I'm going to move these back up to my pile, the ones I didn't use, because those are for the other page. Cool, cool, cool. All right, our greenery. What I thought we could do with this is tuck some behind here and some behind here. Okay, now because we adhered already, oh my gosh, I just found another big pile of white powder. Because of this, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut some of this off. And remember, this is vellum, so it's thick vellum. I don't think your adhesive will show, but just put your adhesive like on the edge and tuck it like it's poking out from behind, okay? And on the bottom, we're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna poke out, but we used adhesive, so I'm gonna cut some of the bottom off, and I'm just gonna put it a little bit at the bottom and peel up that green just a little. And you don't want it on the outside of your page, so turn it however you need to make it look good, right? Look at that. That adds a lot, that little bit of greenery. Now this greenery was can be stamped and cut, or this is the vellum paper. I just cut it out using the dies. That's the bonus of getting the dies with some of the Stampin' Up! Paper, is that cool, cool, cool. All right, I gave you a couple of different little messages. One of them says cheer and one says Noel. We're going to use the cheer one, or I had planned on using the cheer one. And I was just going to put it here, but I feel like it needs to be trimmed down a little. And you can, make it flagged on the edges. You could ink it if you wish. It needs just a tiny bit of adhesive, of foam, because it's going to overlap onto that raised up. And put a little glue there. All right, and then I'm just going to put that here. I love it. So far, so good, right? So far, so good. Okay, now I have I think these little greenery pieces, I have plans to put them on here. I think I'm going to do that after we get both pages done so that we can balance that a little bit. So let's set this left page aside and start page 2, the right side. It's a lot easier, fewer bobbles, right? So let's put those aside. Now on this one, I had planned on, when these hang, I was going to hang them a little lower. And I only was going to use 3. I hadn't planned on using all 4. So, excuse me, let me take a drink. I have a clog in my throat here. Okay, so, when you look at page 1 versus page 2 or whatever, initially I had thought about not doing string at all and clumping them down here at the bottom like they were in a pile. You know how you have like a pile of ornaments on a table? And I really like how that looks. Plus it gives me a little space here for some journaling if I want to do journaling. And then I can put my photos overlapping. So this is kind of what I was thinking. I gave you extra string in case you want to do it differently. All right. So if you want to hang them like we did on the other page, do the exact same thing. You have enough string to hang them. And then, you'll have to rearrange your photos a little bit. However you want them to go, right? But you obviously are in control here. So I'm just going to show you the way I planned to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And then I'm going to pop both of these up. Well, maybe at least one of them. Like that. Yeah, this one. Let me get a little bit of more foam tape because, you know, what I'm doing is I don't know if you can see this, but no, sorry, I'm moving my camera around on you, but I'm sticking it to the edge of my table so that I can just cut off strips of what I need. You know, like I have a big long strip on my counter, and I'm just chopping off what I need of it. Okay, and I'm gonna put that here, and then this one here, and I'm just sort of make them look like a pile. I could, you know, you could go ahead and put this one here also. I gave you enough of the, little toppers to do that. I'm going to go ahead real quick and put these on. Again, I'm not putting adhesive totally near the edge because I may want to tuck something in, especially with that little gold. All right. Ooh, yeah. I like it like this. It leaves me a lot of room for my title. Okay, let's go ahead and do that thing where we glue on the toppers. Now, the thing about the toppers on this is since they're in a pile, the toppers would not all necessarily be at the top. They'd be like, if you want to make them look like they're on their side, right? Just put a little glue on each one. This is how I did it. Don't necessarily have to do it the way I do it. Okay, and then we have the greenery, and you can see why I've given you parts and pieces is just fine, right? It works. I'm gonna tuck this greenery behind, and I'm gonna trim it because, you know, I've used adhesive behind here. Put a little glue. Kind of make that work. And then I have this piece, which you know is going to go somewhere over here on the other side. You could make it down here at the bottom, wherever you think it looks really good. Oh, I kind of like that. It makes it look more like it's on a table or something. You know what I mean? All right. And you can see, like, if you follow the print of the vellum, your adhesive will be covered like that. Ta-da! Okay, now on this other one, I have this this Noel. And, well, you know what? Now we're kind of to the point where I can put them side by side. Let me do that so that we can decide the rest of the embellishments. I think I'm going to put a dot of glue back there so that's not quite so loose. All right. Here's what we've got. I have my pieces here at the top. The first thing I want to do is I want to put this piece on because I want it to balance with this one. And I you decide where you want it to be, but I think it needs to be at the bottom. And I want it behind the ornament. So I'm just going to trim that. And I'm going to put some glue and I'm going to tuck it under my photo mat. And I want it under that ornament, but it's like not wanting to lift there. Hold on a minute. That's one thing about liquid glue is it is not forgiving. Not forgiving. Okay. You can't just move it. If you use the other glues, no problem. All right. I like that balance. And then let's go ahead and do our title. Hopefully you all have the whole title. I wanted it to say Merry and Bright. And this is a close to my heart die. And so you can rearrange your title any way you want to make it, you know, look good. I recommend putting it on with glue dots or liquid glue. And liquid glue is obviously the easiest way. Like that, just dot it and then lay it where you want it. The liquid glue that Stampin' Up! Sells 2 liquid glues. One of them is the mono, you know, the green cap mono adhesive brand. And it is really runny. Like if you did this using that brand, you need to be pretty sparing because it will leach out. And it stays a little sticky when it's dry. So if you get that glue, that green glue, on your scrapbook page, it's gonna be a little sticky. I don't love it. I don't use it anymore. When I first started scrapbooking, I used it for a while. The other glue that they have is this one, which is in a precision bottle. I love it, but it dries a little shiny. It's a gel, and it works great, and it's got this precision tip, which is really great. Like you could buy this and use it up, you know, use it for everything because it really does work good. And then you could rinse the bottle out and refill it with what I like, Barely Art glue. And I love Barely Art glue. I also like Club Scraps glue. It's very, very good. They use a paper glue that's pretty amazing. So if you have to buy a liquid glue for scrapbooking, some people really like the Art Glitter brand of glue. And I'm like, I find it to be too sticky. It doesn't dry fast enough for me. I gave you this little tab. You can put it on any photo you wish. I planned it here, so I'm going to just do a little strip there. I just think it's fun to have a little tab and you can write on it, you know, the date or whatever. This little, I sent you a little Joy. I sent you a little Noel. A couple of things you can do with these. The Joy, you could put it on an ornament like that. You could just glue it right on there and it looks so cute right in the center. Like, I just think it's adorable. And so I may do that. And then this Noel, I want to use it very similarly to the cheer up here, only over here. And this one needs some trimming. I just sort of left it kind of large and clunky looking. I wasn't sure if you'd want to flag the ends or what you'd want to do with it. And so you may have to trim that a little. Mine's crooked. Hold on a minute. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I think just a tiny, tiny bit of the foam tape. Anybody got anything good planned today? We are scrambling to get our painting done. We finally painted our bedroom after all of that water pipe bursting drama. I love how it looks. I love the color I picked and everything. Look how pretty. Okay, just like that. I love the page. Just leave it as is. You have places to journal down here. I think I need to attach this before I forget. You know, I love it just as it is, but now we need to add these other little pieces. So I sent this because I was afraid, depending on how you rearrange your layouts, it can look kind of plain up here. Sometimes it's nice to have a little something at the corner of a photo, or, you know, on the edge, or even, you know, tucked in here. It's kind of nice to have the little bits and pieces. And so do with that what you want, all right? And I think I'm just going to add it. I kind of like it here, but that's all right. I'm going to put it up here. Okay. And then I'm not planning on using the last bauble. You can do that if you wish. These little leaves, they come from, is it the ornament? I think it's the ornament set itself. Like it's meant to kind of go on here, you know. But they're big, and so you're gonna have to decide if you want to use them, and I do, definitely. So I'm going to add a little glue and just put that there. And I cut out the little berries for you. So I'm just building a little cluster there. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing, but maybe not quite so much. So I'm just going to put one there. Maybe put one down here. And then I'll put one of the berries with each one of those. Like I said, this is entirely up to you whether you add this part or not. I think it looks kind of cool. So, you know, I just sort of added it. And then on this side, add that. I feel like that needs turned a little. See, if you're fast with liquid glue, you can move things, but yeah, gotta be fast. By this Merry and Bright, I kind of feel like it needs a little something. And you don't have to, but I do kind of like how that looks. trying to decide how I want it. I think this is how I'm going to do it. And I tried to give you enough, bits and pieces that you could do whatever you wanted and make your layout yours, do what you wish. I have more of those in my pack, but I think I'm good. Now in your pack, you remember how I told you I went to Daisy Lane and I found the coolest looking embellishments. Oh, they were cool, but they're retired. So I cut them up and split them among all of you. And I just used, these are the Druzy embellishments that are in the catalog, but I gave you some of these and some of the ones that are a lot more blingy. And so with these, I am just scattering. What I like to do is I like to add a glue dot to the adhesive on these. I don't feel like this adhesive is meant to last forever. So I'm going to add a couple of gems there, a gem there, and a gem there. So I'm just going to, adhere my gems as part of these clusters around the page, around the edge. And it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It really adds to it. And then on this side, I'm going to do a similar kind of thing. Try to decide where I want those to be. And you make this yours. Make it yours. Now, a lot of people who put these clusters on really like to tuck them so they're popping out from behind some of the greenery, so that they don't look like they're just floating. But I like mine floating. It doesn't bother me at all. All right, so here's left page. I think it turned out gorgeous. Here's my right page. The other thing you could do if you aren't working with me is you could use, I really was going to do this. As a matter of fact, I have it on my list of things not to forget that I forgot. But use a little bit of ink and a blending brush and put just a little bit of gold behind there. And I think that would look gorgeous. Really, really pretty. And I still probably could do it around the words a little bit, but it would be a little trickier. So I don't know. I might try just because I'm weird. And I don't care if it's totally perfect, if I screw it up. But basically we're done. So let me know if you're missing an and I'll send that to you. And then we're done for the day. And Moose is ready, apparently. So, all right. See you Wednesday. Thanks.